I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Salah, I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa, and I'm from Lutoka, and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Hulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Rakiraki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate, and this is FBC News tonight. Republican Donald Trump leads presidential race. New findings link infant deaths to NCDs. And hundreds join Girmatia celebrations. But first, we apologize for the delay in our news this evening. This was due to technical issues. Leading our bulletin for tonight, Republican candidate Donald Trump holds a slender lead with just hours to go before the final result of the U.S. presidential elections are known. Trump currently has 244 electoral votes compared to Hillary Clinton's 215. Trump needs just 26 more votes to become America's next president. Let's go live to Al Jazeera to see what is happening in the U.S. We now cross live to FBC journalist Maggie Boyle, who is in North Carolina and who has been in the mix with all the election excitement. Maggie, tell us what's happening.
Good evening, Jackie. Well, it's after 1 a.m. here in North Carolina, and with 8 states still to go in terms of the count, it's still not a foregone conclusion that Donald Trump will be the president-elect. However, he is certainly closer with 26 more electoral votes needed. He sits on 244, with Hillary Clinton sitting on 215 electoral votes so far. Now, talking about the race, the Republicans have certainly reined in the power structure here, taking out the majority in the House of Representatives, also quite successfully taking the majority in the Senate, which is their lower house. And, of course, now with Donald Trump's numbers being unprecedented. In all of the pre-polls, it wasn't this close. And that's been the key theme of the evening. Too close to call and still too close to call is what they've been saying. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, some of the states, and Arizona, those states, those numbers still coming in terms of the election results. But we're not too far away from seeing who it will be. And certainly with Donald Trump in the lead, it looks very possible that a Republican may be taking over the head office.
Thanks so much for that update, Maggie. Presidential nominees Democrat Hillary Clinton and Republican Donald Trump cast their votes earlier today, both holding last-minute rallies past midnight last night, calling on their supporters to show up to the polls. Maggie Boyle, who is in the U.S., filed this report earlier today.
A few hours away from polls closing, and there's a steady trickle of voters coming through to cast their ballots.
Yes, ma'am, I voted for Donald Trump.
And why is that?
Biggest reason, he's not a professional politician. That's what's wrong with America, is professional politicians.
40 polling booths have been set up to cater for residents here, reportedly in some unusual places too, with the voting centre erected at a laundry service that's accessible to the public in the area. I'm standing here in Orange County in the state of North Carolina, where voting is taking place at the Lutheran Trinity Church. There's small numbers here, but it's safe to say they can't tell whether it's swinging either the Republican or the Democratic way. And of course, in this state, it is a swing state, and for the president to win the White House, it will be decided here. For some early voters, it was a chance to help those still making their way to the polls, as well as pushing the party's slogan, Stronger Together.
Yes, so this is a precinct where people vote just on Election Day. You know, in North Carolina, we've had early voting, so people have been voting for several weeks now, but at early voting locations. Anyway, if you wait till Election Day, you have to go to your precinct place. And I am passing out sample Democratic ballots.
And if you hadn't decided on who to vote for, there was help on hand for this as well. You could chew through the candidate list and soak up the bipartisan support.
This is the sticker they'll give you once you've come through this way to vote. More than 150 million are expected out here at Elections Day, with 46 million going through to the polls in the early voting phase, which was held 2 weeks prior to today. As to the results, these are expected to come trickling in at around 7:30 tonight when the polls close here on the east side. For FBC News in North Carolina, I'm Maggie Boyle.
The United States Embassy in Suva hosted a special event this afternoon for guests to watch the polling results. U.S. Ambassador to Fiji Judith Sefkin noted the 2016 election is as historic as when Barack Obama became the first African-American president of the United States.
These men and women have gathered to witness what is described as one of the most important events in the political life of the United States.
It's been, I think you would agree, a very intense and emotionally charged campaign. But I do also want to say that high drama isn't something that is unique to this election. In the history of the United States, our presidential elections, most have included a number of polarizing issues, and some have been quite contentious.
Some of these people are U.S. citizens and have voted in these elections. They have a vested interest in how the results turn out later tonight. Other invited guests included current parliamentarians, government ministers, and international dignitaries.
Today we have a woman as one of the two main candidates for president. This is historical. Less than 100 years ago, women were not even allowed to vote in our country.
U.S. Ambassador to Fiji Judith Sefkin also drew attention to how a change in the leadership may affect this part of the world.
Ultimately, the pursuit of what's in the best interests of the people of the United States is what shapes the new administration's policies, which is why traditionally there is more continuity than change in our foreign policy. Take, for example, our commitment to respond to the challenge of climate change. I know how important this is for Pacific Islanders who experience and deal with the harmful effects of climate change every day.
Ambassador Sefkin says, however, it's too soon to comment on foreign policy under the new U.S. administration. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
And Edwin joins us live from the American Embassy in Tamavua. Edwin, what do you have for us?
Jackie, it's been a long day of counting the election results, and hours later we still don't have a clear result. Donald Trump right now does have a slender lead, but it's too close to call with counting still going on and results still coming in. It's come as a bit of a surprise to people after months of projections and polling showing that Hillary Clinton maybe possibly had the edge on Donald Trump. But as of now, after 7 hours at the U.S. Embassy, where the staff who've also voted in this election have been closely watching developments back in the U.S., still don't know how it's going to turn out later tonight. And with me I have the U.S. Ambassador to Fiji and the South Pacific, Ambassador Judith Sefkin. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
It's been a long day. As I mentioned, a lot of people were expecting by now we would know, but still too close to call.
That is correct. As you said, it's very close. A lot of states are just running neck and neck, and there's still several key states that have not yet been able to declare who the winner is. So as you said, I think we could still be in for a few hours before we know how this is going to come out.
And what's the atmosphere like among staff at the embassy, U.S. citizens who have a stake in the results?
Well, as you see, people are very closely watching it. As you say, we did vote. We vote by mail. So most of us sent in our ballots by mail several weeks ago. And of course, as civil servants, you know, we are nonpartisan. We support the administration that is in office. So we're waiting to see very much who our new boss will be.
Ambassador, lastly, people in Fiji would be wondering, with the change in administration, how does that affect the services provided at the embassy, and how does that affect relations between Fiji and the U.S.?
Well, I don't anticipate any change in the services that the embassy provides. As I said, most of our staff are career appointees. They work as career diplomats. Of course, we also have our local staff that stay here throughout the changes of the, American staff that come and go. So it shouldn't really affect. We still carry out our basic functions of conducting our diplomacy, of providing our consular services, our public diplomacy programming. So I expect that to continue just as it has been.
Ambassador Sefkin, thank you very much for your time. Now, Jackie, as the polling results continue to come in back in the US, we expect it will take another few hours. This could stretch on a bit longer before we can clearly and definitely say who the next president of the United States is going to be.
Thanks so much for that, Edwin. The Health Ministry has discovered a new trend of non-communicable diseases causing the death of infants. This was confirmed to FBC News by NCD National Advisor Dr. Isimeli Tukana. Ali Kimbia has more.
There has been a notable increase in infant deaths associated with NCDs.
For mothers who give birth to babies, when they die, a significant number is dying from what we call indirect. It's the mother's condition that's causing them to die. Diabetes in pregnancy, heart diseases in pregnancy.
An NCD stakeholders meeting is currently underway in Suva to discuss and show evidence of the link between the death of infants and NCDs. NCD Project Officer Andrew Prasad says the onus is on parents to make wise decisions.
It comes back to the parents. What they give to the children at the early age is what they're going to become at the end. So it's the parents who have to make healthy choices.
The Health Ministry has confirmed that up to 80% of people dying prematurely are due to non-communicable diseases. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The story of Giramatea will remain as one of the most inspirational chapters of Fiji's history. His Excellency, the President of Fiji, retired Major General Chochi Konrote, made the statement while delivering his address at celebrations in Albert Park today to commemorate the struggles and sacrifices made by 182 indentured labourers who were the last to arrive in Fiji in 1916 aboard the Sutlej. Savara Tamboa has more.
An event that should not go unnoticed.
They worked their hearts out to carve out new lives in Fiji, and in doing so, made a disproportionate contribution to building our nation. On the shoulders of the Giramateas rested much of the burden of building the then British colony. Whether it was by clearing land, building roads, and most of all, toiling in the sugarcane fields.
People from all walks of life joined in on a march from the flea market to Albert Park in Suva, led by the Fiji Police Band. Also part of the procession was this portrayal of the ship Sutlej that carried indentured laborers to Fiji 100 years ago.
They discovered in 1916. I learned from the Indians. They come to plant sugar, the sugar industry.
I learned how the Giramateans came to Fiji, their language and their costumes.
While delivering his speech this morning, Major General retired Chochi Konrote has assured all Fijians that Giramateas are no longer marginalized, they are no longer outsiders, they are no longer Vulangi. Descendants of the Giramateas shared their views on the event.
It feels good to see people united as one and celebrating Girmit festival.
Enjoy, our celebration is very nice.
Giramatea celebrations will continue in other municipalities over the next 2 days. Sabira Tamboa, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC News, drug farmer gets 6 years, 11 months prison time, and family loses all in fire. Stay with us.
It's me, Simsta here, right from the Reykjavik town. और सुबह ब्रेकफास्ट शो में मैं सुनता हूँ, जब ब्रेकफास्ट शो में रहता है अश्लील और संगीता के साथ, किसी के साथ सुनते सुनते 11 से 2 भाभी दी का शो जितेन शामिल. You know something? Reykjavik Mirchi FM is hot.
मैं हूँ श्वेता, दुर्गुशा नर्सरी से. लोग देखते हैं ईद का चांद, लेकिन मेरा चांद तो मिर्ची FM है.
मिर्ची FM लॉक कर दिया.
हमारा नाम जाबिर है, हम कोर्निविया नसोरी में रहता है। मिर्ची एफएम हम सब टाइम सुनता है। मिर्ची एफएम बहुत जुलूम है। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. A farmer has been sentenced by the Suva High Court to 6 years 11 months in prison for 1 count of unlawful cultivation of illicit drugs and 1 count of possession of illicit drugs. Senivalati Kohli pleaded guilty to both counts. Shireen Shivan files this report.
Between the months of October 2015 to 27th January 2016, at Thamavua in the Central Division, Senivalati Kohli unlawfully cultivated 103 plants of illicit drugs, weighing 18.2 kilograms. The court was told that on January 27, 2016 at about 9 a.m., 2 police constables were trekking through the bushes of Vunilekutu Tamavua when they came across 70 plants already planted and 30 more wrapped in plastics. The 2 constables saw Kohli walking to the farm. The 47-year-old farmer ran when he saw the constables and was caught at the compound of Latter-day Saints School where he was arrested. Kohli was brought to the farm where he admitted he had planted the plants. Police constables then searched his house where they found a pink plastic bag containing dried leaves, 32 samples of dried leaves wrapped in aluminium foils, and a container with seeds. The aggravating factor for the case was the amount of illicit drugs found. The farmer was sentenced to 6 years 11 months imprisonment for the first count and 6 months imprisonment for the second count to be served concurrently. He is eligible to apply for parole after 5 years 11 months. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya has commended organisers of the annual Hotech Trade. The minister was given a tour of booths at the trade show at the Sheraton Resort in Spa in Denarau this morning. Ellen Stolz tells us more.
The Greenleaf booth belongs to a Ukrainian company, boasting a unique line of products for the tourism industry.
The problem in Fiji is it breaks. Mishandling, just some playing or just, some poor service or whatsoever, it breaks. It makes hoteliers spend tons and tons of money. We found a product in Spain. It's Vicrila. It's a 125-year-old company. They know the business. This range is only 2 weeks old, but we have amazing feedback from all the properties.
The Fiji Chefs Association Salon Culinaire cooking competitions have also been a highlight of the trade show. The Fiji Hotel and Tourism Association is one of the few sponsors of the annual event.
We also, very pleasingly, have a record number of junior chefs competing this year, which is an indication of the young people joining our industry and being trained.
While opening the event this morning, Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya says it's encouraging to see the event in its 13th year.
Through these competitions and events, I strongly believe that we can actually build on effectively utilizing our local produce.
The trade show ends this Friday. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
A family in Luke Street, Nambour, lost all their belongings to a fire in the early hours of this morning. A temple, a kindergarten and a flat were destroyed in the blaze. Pranita Prakash with the details.
Anup Sharma and his family, including his wife, 2 children and parents, went to bed last night, never expecting to wake up to the charred remains of what was their home for the last 13 years. The fire started at about 1:30 a.m. and in less than half an hour, everything was lost.
About 1:40 or 1:45, the fire brigade came, but by the time it started, the blaze was really high and it started to go towards the neighbor's house. So the fire brigade came and they saved that one first and tried to save this one, our temple and the house, but it was too late.
Along with the house and the temple, a kindergarten was also destroyed. Committee member Rajesh Narayan says around 107 students were due to graduate from the kindergarten.
All the preparation was done, and today actually it was a rehearsal day. And the gown, the certificates, the gift packs, the children's reports and books and teachers' material, all has been destroyed in the fire. Nothing we could save.
Narayan says the estimated cost of damage is around $400,000. He says they will be asking for assistance to ensure that the kindergarten is rebuilt for the new school term. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Sports is up next, and Rohit joins us with the latest.
Good evening. Up ahead in sports, Fiji Sevens team ready for Oceania meet, and Vistas win first match on Fiji tour. Details coming up.
Mrs. Maninrabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatukola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Golavanaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort, and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic hit music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Students of Hilton Special School in Suva got a surprise visit from the Vodafone Fiji Sevens team today. The players took time out from training to rest today, and as Melly Tavanga reports, the team is aiming for nothing less than a win at this weekend's Oceania Sevens.
A surprise visit that turned out to be an overwhelming moment for the Fiji Sevens boys.
All the boys that when we come to places like this, it lifts you up and inspire you the way they get on with life. With the disability they have, but they get on with life with smiling faces. And when I come here, it gives me, a sense of trying to work hard, and be happy of what I have.
Today it's all smiles and laughter, but the captain knows too well the task ahead. Kolinisau is not underestimating any teams, especially defending champions Australia, who have come into the tournament with a majority of new players.
We want to win too on the weekend, and the boys know what we gotta do, and I think we'll have our game plan fixed if we come up against Australia on what we need to do against them.
Kolinisau says new players have settled in well and are learning from experienced players.
Some of them are very young, and they're eager to learn, and they've got a lot of spirit to work hard, and having them in the team is nice to have young guys in the team, and to try and pass on what we've learned.
Seven-star Masivesi Ndakuanga and Jerry Tuai will not play this weekend, but will join the team next week for their preparation towards the first leg of the 2016 and 17 HSBC World 7 Series. Melly Tavanga, FBC Sports.
The Oceania Sevens rugby tournament is set to kick off this weekend. Speaking at the captain's photo shoot today, Oceania Rugby Tournament Director Wayne Skutsa says this year's tournament is building up to be the best ever. Melly Tavanga reports.
2 days to go for the Oceania Sevens tournament. Director Wayne Schuster is already impressed with the work carried out by the Fiji Rugby Union.
It is the intention of Oceania Rugby to ensure that this tournament remains in Fiji, and those discussions are in play. And one on which we're certainly with Fijian Rugby Union and the Fijian Sports Council affirm over the next couple of weeks.
Schuster says the Oceania Sevens tournament sets the platform to showcase Pacific Island rugby players to the world.
The tournament has always been a platform in which for our young stars in the Pacific and in the region to aspire to greater things in the sevens realm, and as you would have seen from the recent Olympics, we have both gold medalists here for the Oceania Sevens. So that's certainly a privilege and an honour.
Fiji Rugby Union Chief Executive John O'Connor welcomed the comments, saying they're looking forward to a clean rugby weekend.
We hope that the weather will hold up so that we can see some good rugby. And like mentioned by Mr. Schuster, this is, we believe, a start of a partnership between Fiji Rugby Union and Oceania Rugby to host the Sevens for the next few years, and likewise to host many other tournaments.
The Oceania Sevens tournament is very important to all participating teams as it prepares them for the HSBC World 7 Series. Melly Tavanga, FBC Sports.
The Samoan Sevens team has brought a fairly young team for this week's Oceania tournament. They are on a rebuilding phase and are already looking towards the 2019 Olympics. The disappointment of failing to qualify to this year's Olympics in Rio is still fresh in the minds of these players. Coach Stephen Betham says they have chosen a young side to test their composure under pressure.
I think we were sort of using the Oceania to gauge whether some of these new players can make the step up to the HSBC. So at the moment it's a rebuilding process for us as well as we look the next 4 years to the Olympics.
Betham adds the Oceania Sevens is a great chance for these players to come out of Samoa and compete against some of the best.
I think it's a great tournament. We mainly these players just play local tournaments back home. They never get that opportunity to play against some of the top Fijian development teams and hence Australia as well. So these teams have been to the Olympics. So it's a good measurement for these players whether they can make that step up.
He goes on to say that he is looking forward to working with Sevens legend Sir Gordon Tidgens.
It's a great opportunity for everybody, especially Samoa as a whole. We know what he's going to bring. It's whether the players can make that step up. So like he said before when he was in Samoa, it's not an easy fix. We've got to build a good foundation, and then that's what we're trying to do, build that foundation and then build on top of that.
Samoa is pooled with Australia, the Solomon Islands, New Caledonia and the Cook Islands for the two-day tournament. The New Caledonia rugby side will try and gain as much experience as possible at this week's tournament. The side is here with only 10 players and will be looking to create some upsets. The young players are looking forward to rub their shoulders with some of the best in the sport.
It's good I repeat, we are here for learning, and we prepare the mini games for on Vanuatu, and we are a very young group, and we hope that it's a good experience for the young people.
The New Zealand Heartland 15 side defeated Nandi 26-19 in its first match on tour yesterday. The Visitors scored 2 tries in the first spell to take a 12-0 lead at the break. They added another 2 tries to lead 26-0 in the second spell. The Jet Setters replied with 3 tries, but it was a little too late.
Very tough game. I think we found out what touring was all about out here. We started to get some dominance in that third quarter of the game, and we looked really good when we were up 26-0. But fatigue and buying into it, trying to play Nandi's game, and we were never going to win that, and we let them back into the game. So we'll review what we've done, and we'll look forward to Nadroga in a couple of days' time.
The Heartland 15 play Nandronga at Lawanga Park in its second match on Friday. The Tahiti football side edged the Solomon Islands 1-0 in the 2018 FIFA World Cup OFC Stage 3 qualifier yesterday. A second-half free kick from Tahiti Kek proved to be the difference. That's it from Sports Today. It's back to Jackie for business.
KSL Capital Partners are the new owners of Outrigger Hotels and Resorts. A statement released today says that affiliates of the companies signed a purchase and sale agreement for an affiliate of KSL to acquire Outrigger. The transaction includes all 37 of Outrigger's multi-branded portfolio of hotels, condominiums and vacation resort properties, and is subject to shareholder approval and customary closing conditions. President and CEO of Outrigger Enterprises Group, David P. Carey, says KSL has the capital capacity to elevate Outrigger to the next level. Outrigger's current management team will continue to lead the company, and the company's headquarters will remain in Honolulu, Hawaii. Essentially, it's business as usual. Outrigger currently operates and has under development 37 properties in Hawaii, Guam, Fiji, Thailand, Mauritius, and the Maldives. Conditions were sunny and warm in most areas of Fiji today. Looking at the temperatures, Lambasa was the warmest centre at 33 degrees, while Nadi, Lautoka and Bar trailed at 32 degrees, while Savusavu recorded the coolest temperature at 28 degrees. For tomorrow, sunny periods are expected in most parts of the country. The north can expect a few showers. And looking further on to Friday, cloudy periods with intervals of heavy showers are predicted to be the weather trend around the nation. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Republican Donald Trump continues to hold a slender lead in the U.S. presidential race. New findings link infant deaths to NCDs, and hundreds join Giramatia celebrations. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To this week's poll question, and we are asking, are Fijian parents neglecting proper diet for children? To answer, visit our FBC website. Remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. Until tomorrow, I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
Evango mila kere antiterroga, ando umaruta kana warronga ng Bula FM, number 2 na siya.
Kung nga ng tao niyo na sino, ito talita ka ng warronga ng Bula FM.
Evango sarvino ng bose, evango bikara din bao. Kito do talita ka ng warronga ng Bula FM, korong. Bula FM, number 2 na siya.
Wala na utungan ng Bula FM, number 2 na siya, erang basa.
Bula FM number 2 en serie.